Michael, I appreciate you bringing up science because I know you publish in a lot of venues, but the one I follow the most is you always post stuff in the HR Exchange Network. And I think you put out really, really good scientific findings on this. And what I like is, first of all, they're based in the science, but they're also very balanced. And I'm wondering, because I do find in this debate about remote versus in person, there's people that are pretty militant on both sides of it. And I feel like you do as best as you can to kind of cut down the middle of it. Do you ever get pushback from either side? And if so, what is that pushback?
Everything I ever write gets pushed back, which is interesting. And it's such an awesome question. I think we got two extreme camps on this topic. Leaders, not all leaders, of course not, but many leaders who want people to come back in the office. And I have a lot of empathy for them because, there's now one additional thing that incredibly busy leaders now have to manage more intentionally. So it's easy for them to just say, hey, let's just get back in the office because we left these connections things to chance and it just happened naturally and we didn't have to manage it. Now there's like a whole nother chapter in the management textbook because, they need to think about when do I pull teams back? When don't I pull, so they're always going to have a point of view where I really get, I'll call them more hostile points of view are from employees that say, that's garbage. That's not what the science says. First of all, I'm really careful about how I express science as I was just a couple moments ago. And then they start to attack that, this isn't even close to true. And then they go straight to their personal bias. I have to resist the temptation to charge into those kind of arguments because they're not logical. So the short answer is yes. And I don't know the answer. I don't know what this outcome is. I will tell you this. I would have said to you, I learned from my MIT Media Lab experience, I learned that proximity matters immensely to performance. And I would have been the very first person that would have said, our productivity is going to tank whenever we lose proximity, because all the studies I've ever done would say that maybe 30 to 40% of the variance can be explained by this. Turns out that proximity is just a proxy for cohesion. And turns out that we can maintain cohesion rather well inside a remote environment. So I don't think we know the answers to many of these things. So those arguments are fun for me. I try to avoid, the ones that are not grounded in some sort of, science, or some experiment, if you will. But yeah, there's always pushback.
Well, on a note of science and coming back to the office, Fowler and Christakis talk about 90% of your learning should take place through social learning, just because it's so much faster. You can come to the office, you can observe someone behaving perhaps on culture or off culture and take that with you. And you don't have to go through an experience, just the same as, one of the reasons that Amazon consumer is so great, because you can go on the website and read about all the different products, the pros and cons. You don't have to go buy the products and deal with this. And I'll brag on Michael here. He was talking about using the science to bring back folks 2 years ago in a very intentional way, a way that people are just now starting to talk about, because just letting it happen. You use the term social lottery, which I absolutely love. It's fantastic. You got to be intentional and bring people together and let them learn from one another in a way that will best benefit them and the organization.